Hey guys, Sean, Leslie Little for Dummies. Teardown of the Byrna, number 2. This is going to be the abbreviated version to rectify the issue I'm having with too light a valve spring. Things I've learned from the first teardown: only need to take the screws off on one side, 1, 2. These 2 bolts, through bolts here, have to be completely removed, and also this rear one. So everything down the left-hand side or the driver's side needs to come off, or any of the through bolts, and just this case half comes off. Yeah, so a lot of it's going to be in fast forward. Away we go. Forgot to mention, take off the this side safety selector before you undo all these screws. Makes it a little easier to pry it off. Leave the other side intact. Also forgot to mention, loosen your hammer spring all the way off. Now that I have this cover off to get the air chamber out, I do need to take the screw out of the trigger mech so I can kind of pull this brass tube apart. What I'm trying to do this time is keep the safety pivot shaft in place. That way I don't have to reset the detent that's in there. So I'm going to carefully try and wriggle this side off like that. So now, hopefully I can lift this off. And pluck this brass tube out all in one shot. Be sure I put that hammer stop back on there. Okay, so this time, see how I've gotten it out with the shaft intact. That prevented me from having to reset this spring-loaded detent in here. Nah, did it save me any time? I'm not sure yet, but I'm trying to do it a little differently this time. Currently elapsed is probably 10 minutes. Need to grab my snap ring pliers to open up this air chamber, see what is going on now. Still springy, but I think what was happening is the air pressure was just too great and a pin couldn't reset properly. So staying partially open until the pressure dropped enough that it could reseal. So either the issue was, I mean, this spring is pretty, I don't know what I was thinking, it's pretty soft. My idea is, so when you press this and the air is rushing out the front of the bolt here, the immense pressure of the CO2 that's rushing out here isn't allowing the spring, or the spring isn't strong enough to close the valve. So it stays partially open, and I get what you saw in the video is the air loss. That's one theory. The other, I don't have it out here with me, is if you remember there was a black diffuser right in this area here. Now either that diffuser slows that sort of rush of air at a certain point when this pin is depressed, enough that it can be, the spring can overcome it. So this might not be the last time I open this again. I'm going one spring harder than this one. So let's set this one aside for a moment. So that spring I had was a 0.6 millimeter. I'm gonna go to a 0.8 millimeter by 20. So this is the new spring I'm gonna use here. It's the same length as the one I'm replacing, but it is 1 wire gauge thicker. So you can see the comparison there. This is the one I took out. This one I'm putting in, which is more closely resembles the factory wire gauge, but it is slightly smaller. So that's what I'm going with. Hopefully it works. Reassemble the air valve. Again, I just hand tighten it on there and I ensure that the air valve is functioning correctly. And then I tighten down this cap on the back here of the air chamber. Here's where I'm going to do something different, guys. Probably should have showed you, But when this cap is fully tightened down, it's actually recessed into this air chamber. My thought is, because it's sealed with an O-ring, I'm not going to recess it, because recessing it, it's actually squeezing the chamber down ever so slightly. The main objective is that this still slides back into this section of the clamshell. So if it's protruding too far, it's not gonna interlock properly. If it's too far in, that's how it was installed factory. So I'm doing it just flush. It does have an O-ring seal on it. Don't know what the repercussions of that are. That O-ring should swell and seal regardless of the depth it's threaded, as long as it is inside that sealing face. So wish me luck. Now we're gonna put this bad boy back together. Try that again. Put the little springs in, put the sear pivot in, the little sear on. And don't knock your spring off while you're doing it. Then the washer, little white washer, and the boot. You can see now how the springs are assembled. Okay, and I can actually put this in now, I think. So my adjuster, something like that. Putting my hammer back in here. Actually put this spring on after. Put this on after too, that adjuster. Okay, and you can see the hammer is sort of in the cock position. I need this cam plate. This is where it gets tricky. You have to tension. Actually, I have this hammer in the wrong spot, I believe. Oh. Oh, that gives me a chance to get my needle nose pliers. Because I'm gonna need them. But, like I said, you guys gotta be careful. This stuff wants to fly, so. Okay, so little tip when you're doing this part here, once you have your assembly kind of assembled there, put the screw through. And there's a reason for that, because once you get this set, I found it's kind of required to tighten the nut on here to pull this pin in the appropriate length. Otherwise it doesn't protrude through your clamshell properly. So we got all our stuff ready here. I'm using my new offset needle nose. Oops. Let's try that again. Okay, so the reason why that nut's important, I lost my spring here, of course, it's because it has to pull that rear screw right there through far enough. Otherwise, once the clamshells are together, it's just a no-go. Okay, that's really annoying. Let's see if I can put something down there that'll stop it from coming off. Or kind of grip it. Head's spinning on the back, so it's throwing me for a loop here. Oh yeah, that's better. Oh, shoot. Okay, that should be good. That should be good. Woo! I think I got her. Woohoo! And I found my kit I bought. It's actually a T6. Is the Torx for the safety. T6. Fire, it should hear the hammer click. Safety, should hear no click. All right, guys. Time lapse was probably took me about 30 minutes, but my snafu where I forgot to put the adapter in resulted in me attempting to split the case and put it in, and then the hammer spring slipped again, so I had to start over. But if I had to estimate my time now, probably 35 minutes. It's easier. I wouldn't call it easy, but I know where everything goes, and just like any puzzle, do it a few times, it gets easier. I still don't recommend ever taking your SD apart unless, I don't know, I see like 100 FPS game, but you know I'm not gonna see that, right? So, they have the new LE model coming. It has a longer barrel. I attribute its biggest FPS gain to the longer barrel. Now, my lighter spring did show an improvement, but it failed the, well, durability test, I guess you could say. So new springs in here. See what it does. So, 12 gram Crossman CO2 loaded up. Slightly heavier valve spring, and I backed the chamber cap out probably about a 1/16 of an inch. You can see I haven't completely pushed my wire guide through, just in case I need to disassemble. So let's see if it just airs and holds pressure. It punctured, it held pressure. Byrna Kinetics, 2.9 gram. It is 18 degrees in the garage today, so that's 2 degrees warmer than previous testing where the lighter valve spring failed. And during that test, I hit 322 feet per second. So, let's see what it does. Chrono. Safety off. A measly 254. And I'm gonna say something here, guys. I am gonna have to retest this. I'm 100% sure that I just bought a box of CO2s, Crossman CO2s, that were different from the last test, and I don't know, they look like knockoffs. So let's finish this anyways. $264. 256. 254. Power is definitely down. I don't know. 256. Oh, you know what? I didn't wind the hammer spring in. Oh, man. Okay. So it could be the CO2s, but geez, man. Am I really that dumb? Yeah, probably. I don't know. Can you wind this thing while it's aired up? Now let's find out. Well, there's a lot of turns on that, guys. That is probably the real reason why the output is down. In my haste, I did not wind the hammer spring back up. So I'm gonna post this video with the next 5 shots, but I don't think it's gonna be a fair comparison. Let me see if I can find it out. All around here somewhere. Well, we got 4 shots. I don't think it'll be a quite fair comparison just because I've already expelled, obviously, 5 shots. But let's see what the next 4 shots do because I can't find that other kinetic that's rolling around on the ground here. $278. $274. $266. And $268. Before it gets away. Well, that's 4, guys. Let me load up another CO2 and we will start with a fresh cartridge. But no malfunction. And we're not really sure if the FPS is up or not. But for a second meg, based on some previous testing I've done, that was as strong as my first meg. So let's see what happens. Okay guys, back with a new 12 gram CO2 with the hammer spring maximized, and the CO2 that I have installed in this is from the lot that I previously tested in the last video. And I brought out the new CO2. Whether I'm right or wrong, my first assumption was when the FES was way down was there was something different going on. And you have to take this into account. I mean, CO2 should be charged exactly the same, but they're not. This is lot A and this is lot B. And now I'll show you. The previous CO2 that I tested was this one. You can see it's kind of got a dull finish to it. And we'll call this lot B. This is the new box I bought of 25. See how shiny the cartridges. Nothing looks out of the ordinary. And really it might not be, I don't know. But now, look at the two of those puncture caps. The new one here has an indentation, whereas this one has sort of a bulge. Now, I don't know. Does it make a difference? Can you tell by looking at them? Probably not, but for the sake of this test, I have reinstalled one of these dull looking ones that I tested previously that I hit 322 with. So it's brand new, unpunctured. Temperature again, the garage is 18 degrees. CO2s are stored inside. It's about 20 degrees inside. And the testing happens, within a few minutes of me coming out to the garage. So CO2 is punctured, 2.9 gram Byrna kinetics. Got 5 of them in there. Fresh start, max spring. Fire. $280. $286. $282. $278. $272. And that was the last shot, guys. Well, what can I say? Definitely wasn't the 40 FPS I saw on the last one, but I also saw a malfunction. Maybe there's an in-between. Spring pressure, I don't know yet, but based on that test, this lighter spring didn't really perform better. It performed about the same as the factory spring intact, which I think my high was 282. I did saw a little increase, but I mean, talking 4 feet per second. I wouldn't consider that substantial. I was more excited about the 40, but we're not done yet, you guys. We're gonna keep at it. In my honest opinion, I thought this was gonna be the one, especially with that chamber, the cap backed out. Now, did backing it out actually decrease velocity? This is the crappy part about a marker like this that is not easily serviceable is to test all those theories, I will have to open it up, tighten the cap down, retest it, so on and so forth. You kind of get the idea, guys. Now I am pretty proficient at it now, but it doesn't mean I want to. But for the sake of the YouTube universe, the Byrna Nation, I will keep searching until I find that 40 FPS that I saw. Now, that 40, I mean, man, that was impressive. It really was. And prior to filming of that particular video, I had fired off 2 mags without issue, and then the malfunctions happened, and then they happened. Probably what you didn't see is I did test numerous times after outside of the video, and first shot, hot shot, 322, 320, 325, but that first shot was also the first malfunction. So is there a fine line there that we're walking? There probably is. So it's gonna take some doing to find it. But I'll keep at it, guys. Didn't say nothing was easy, and love it or hate it, I like the Byrna. I mean, it serves its purpose. There was a poll kind of put out there the other day about sub 20 joule markers. This here is a sub 20 joule marker. But how I see this benefit to me is in a vehicle where an argument can be made that head face shots are not practical on an object that is advancing at you. But in a vehicle, somebody comes to your window, there ain't a lot to shoot at. 10, 11, 12 joules to the face is going to hurt. It is going to allow you time to get away. What you don't do with a marker that is 10, 11, 12 joules is step out of your vehicle. Your vehicle is your safe place. And that's where I find this marker serves me best as of now. I would love to see some more power, and you guys will have to stay tuned to find out. There's some new versions of this, LE with the extended barrel, and be damned if you haven't seen John Wixon's video when he shoots off his extended 14 round mag with the compensator, that you see a 330 on his video, and the closest I got was 322. Some of these markers just don't belong. You know that square peg and round hole and what you learned when you're a kid? You know, these things aren't all created equal. Similar, but not equal. There are there are a lot of things that can vary the feet per second. But in his instance, that's the 40 FPS that I'm missing right now. So I'll keep at it, guys. Like, subscribe. Don't listen to the fat man.